So, you want to maintain your balisong, huh? Is there a reason? Does it have horrible tap? Lots of play? Is it just super duper dirty? Or do you have new speed channel handles to pop on there? Well, for all those, I have the solution. This is my Squid Industries Krake Raken V3. I'm going to do a handle swap. I'm going to show you how you would sand down your bushings if you had bad tolerances. I'm going to teach you how to clean the balisong. And this is everything you're going to need. So first off, I'm going to disassemble my Kraken. How you do this is you take your Torx driver. I'm using a T10 because that's what this takes. And you're going to hold it in open position and squeeze the handles. That way the screws don't spin. And then you're just going to unscrew them. You're going to want to keep all your hardware kind of in one place so you don't lose it. Okay, so I got that hardware out. Now let me get the other one out. Oh, this one's spinning. So in this case, you're just going to take off your handle. Keep the washers with that same handle. Just leave the bushing in the balisong. And then you're going to close it and hold on to the spine of the blade. That way the screw doesn't spin. I kind of messed up there by completely unscrewing and removing the first handle. But yeah, it's very easy to fix. Okay, so just pop the pivots out. Take off your other handle. The washers, it doesn't matter if they are with the same side of the blade. However, it does matter that the bushings are. Okay, now Kraken is completely disassembled, or whatever other balisong you were using. Now, I'm going to take some Q-tips. You can also use paper towels, but Q-tips are my preferred option. I'm going to kind of wipe off all of the excess oil and gunk. I'm going to pop out the bushings, keep them aligned so that I know what one goes where. By handle, safe handle. I'm going to kind of clean out in there. This will help your balisong just run smoother overall. Kind of jam a Q-tip inside the bushing. Just try to get it really cleaned out. Just drop that back in there. Now with this bushing right here, I'm going to show you guys how you would tune your bushing. Okay, so let's say your balisong has tons and tons of play and tap, and it's tightened down all the way. There's not much you can do about that unless you want to send it back to the manufacturer. Or try this before you do that. And what you would do here is you would take, I'm using a whetstone meant for like sharpening knives, but this also, another thing you can use is sandpaper. Not this kind, this isn't fine enough. You want a very fine sandpaper. But this is this very fine whetstone. Doesn't need to be wet for this. You're just gonna place your bushing on there. I'm only gonna do like one rotation because my bushing is good enough already. You're just gonna take it, kind of go in a figure 8 motion. Then at the end of the figure 8, you're gonna twist it. And you do that like 8 to 10 times. And then if it's still not good, just go like every 5 times. Just 5, test it, tighten it, see if it fit. And you don't want to just sand off too much material. Otherwise, your balisong, you won't be able to tighten it all the way. Tightening it all the way is the main purpose of bushings. One of them at least, and you want it to stay like that. So now that the blade and bushings are all clean, I'm going to clean my handles, even though I'm not using these ones anymore. Kind of take your Q-tip, get all that dirt out of there. See how much gunk is on that. It's very important that you clean your balisong sometimes, because one balisong of mine specifically, my Prisma V2 by MachineWise, it was so dirty that the tolerances on it weren't good. So I disassembled it, cleaned it, I tuned the bushings a little bit. It had tap, and it's a MachineWise product, and those never have tap. So I figured something was seriously wrong, but it was just really dirty. Okay, right now I'm going to clean the washers. Just kind of take your paper towel or Q-tip. Just try to get it as clean as you can. You can also do a hardware swap. If you have a fresh set of hardware that your balisong most likely will come with, that is something I would recommend doing. My hardware appears to be in good condition still, so I'm just going to stick with what I'm using currently, but at a later time I may switch it. So for cleaning off the washers, a Q-tip is not really the way to go. I would recommend using a paper towel for this step. I just don't have one with me. Okay, now that everything is all cleaned, oh, actually, you should also clean your pivots a little bit, because if there's too much gunk built up around and in the pivots, you can't really get it out of the inside of the pivots. But if there's like oil in there, it can lead to worse tolerances. So that is something that is pretty important to do. The screws are fine. You don't need to really mess with those. Okay, now that you have everything disassembled and cleaned, you're ready to reassemble it. So this part is pretty important. What you're going to do is you're going to take 2 washers and you're going to look for the grooves on the washers. See, there's like a groove there from the bushing. So there are 2 ways to do this. One, you can try to align the grooves with the bushing so that it fits together the exact same way it was together before, or you can flip the washer over, which is what I'm going to do here. That is more of like a sure way of doing it. You can't really mess it up if you flip the washer over, because it's nearly like having a brand new washer. So if you flip them over, you should have the grooves facing up instead of down. Okay, so I got my 2 washers pinched onto the bushing, and I want the blue handle for the safe handle. So I'm gonna slide that right on. Now this is where things get a little bit difficult. Okay, aligning the pivot. There are 2 ways of doing this. One, you can take a pivot needle of some sort. I just got one with my new Volt Pro. This thing is really, really useful. So it's meant for the Volt Pro or the Volt, but they work with many other balisongs. So watch this. Just gonna stick the pivot needle in there, pop it all the way through. I'm actually gonna reverse that. Go from the back. Okay, I'm just gonna stick my pivot on the end of the pivot needle and drive it right through. The bushing fell out on this side, but that's okay. So see, that was really easy. Sometimes people spend like a half an hour just trying to align the bushing and both washers so that they can jam their pivot through. Another way you can do this, which I will show you on the other handle. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Another way you can do this is by using only a screwdriver. Okay, so red is the bite handle. So get that on. Okay, so another way you can do this, if you don't have a pivot needle on you, is just take your screwdriver. If it's like a long one like this, you can just kind of jam it in there, wiggle it around, and pretty much do the same thing. Just put the pivot on the back of your screwdriver, try to bring it through, and just wiggle it. And yeah, there you go. Now, this part is pretty important. I like to do it open so that I can squeeze it pretty well. But you're gonna just kind of get the screws started a little bit. Do it either with your fingers, or if you have like a magnetic screwdriver, that would be more ideal. Okay. Now, once again, you're gonna pinch the handles together so that the pivots don't move. Just get them both tight enough to where they don't really move. And then one of the most important parts is actually cranking down on the pivots. Okay, this part it can either mess up your balisong pretty badly by stripping your screws. Or if you do it properly, it will lead to a really, really good tune. So what you're gonna do is squeeze the handles very tightly together, kind of jam your screwdriver in there, make sure it's a decent one, like this one off Amazon. It's got a good bit. Just kind of press into it pretty far. Make sure that that bit is completely in the screw. And then just in one motion, turn it really tight. Don't let it slip, because that's how you strip your screw. Okay, you don't want to start like this, otherwise your whole arm will have to turn. Kind of start like this, squeeze it, one motion, just tight. I have pretty decent swing for a non-oiled balisong. This is the last step right here. Just apply some oil, work it in. I like to do a pretty generous amount, especially if you have just cleaned your balisong, because it is completely dry. And dry balisongs are no good. So just work it in. You can either work it in like this, or you can just kind of fan it. So just once it's all worked in to an extent, check your swing again. Looks like my blue handle does not have perfect swing. So I think that is the bushing that I sanded down. Even though it was just one rotation, I think I kind of screwed it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is just loosen it ever so slightly. Now it's got good swing. Tolerances are still really good on it. Get it a little tighter. Even a little more. That was too much. And there you go. That is how you clean your balisong, tune it, swap the handles on your Kraken for speed channel ones, and just maintain it. This is something like cleaning it, at least, would be something I would do if your tolerances are bad. Just anytime. It's not hard to do. It's totally worth it. It only took me, what, 10 minutes? I am a professional, essentially. I've been doing this for a long time. But even if you're a beginner, it shouldn't take you that long. If you have any issues with this process, feel free to comment on this video. I will respond to you ASAP, because I'm just that good. Make sure to subscribe if you like this video. If you're already subscribed, which I'm sure is most of you, thank you. You guys are the best. Comment something down below so I can interact with you. It's something I really enjoy doing, and I think that helps build a pretty solid community on YouTube. Now, before I go, I just want to hit you with a little sound test of the speed channel Kraken handles. I just bought these. I'm very excited about them. Speed channel, as you can see, they go all the way through the handle instead of just being a line. It's a cut through, which leads to a ring. That sounds pretty much the same right here as the OG Kraken did, but when you fan it, sounds like wind chimes. Let's see how the ice pick test sounds. So on the way up, sounds the same. On the way down, it rings. That is a beautiful sound. The flipping experience of this is superb. Like, this is one of my new favorite flippers now. It really changed up the balance a lot. Holy cow. The balance point is a lot further up toward the blade, which is amazing. And it's now lighter too. That probably took off like point something ounces. So a decent amount of weight in the handles, which will just lead to better flipping in my opinion. I'm a speed channel guy, but this is my first speed channel balisong, so insane. And these guys, I have a Kraken clone right here with a really janky blade, so I'm probably going to try to fix the blade, pop these handles on it. That way I have essentially a Tonto Kraken. Even though it's a clone blade, it'll fit, and it's just going to be like a Franken Kraken. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. See you later.